Good afternoon, my good friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to my live stream. Welcome. Let me introduce myself again. Welcome, my friends. Welcome to my live stream. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andre Lefevre. I'm a citizen journalist. My website is wildnews.us. This is an afternoon edition of dissecting the headlines and reading between the lines. Let me just go straight at it. The biggest news of the day, as far as I'm concerned, is that Donald Trump caved in to the liberals on the immigration policy. He decided to let them set the table for them, let them define their argument. So now he agrees, quote unquote, that the U.S. government is somehow mistreating the illegal immigrant children. So he signed an executive order supposedly ending this practice. Never mind that in practice there's nothing immoral, illegal, or fattening in the policies. If parents commit a crime and go to jail, it is customary for children to become wards of the state and be separated. Just like we are separated from our children in public schools. And the same Democrats who separate unborn babies from their mothers for good are crying this. And Trump, unfortunately, I'm really disappointed in the man. Caved in on this one and let Democrats define this argument. New York Times article, gleeful headline: Trump retreats on border policy, but reunions won't be immediate. President Trump caved to political pressure and signed an executive order that ends the separation of families by indefinitely detaining parents and children together at the border. This is not how you build the wall, and this is now how you protect Americans. Mr. Trump, the only reason illegal immigrants come is because Democrats, the progressive Nazis, invite them in so they can illegally vote them, and then legalize them and vote them legally, so they can create a totalitarian government in the United States, the way it is in Cuba, the way it is in China, and the way it was in Soviet Union. And unless you follow us, your employees, we'd have to find somebody else. I'm very disappointed in you, Mr. Trump. If I have time tomorrow, I'll call White House and on my live stream and leave that message. Moving on. The next story I have here is from Daily Caller from this morning. Media unsatisfied by Trump executive order on family separations. Members of the media and Democrats are unsatisfied with President Trump's executive order temporarily ending family separations at the border and are now urging him to end the zero-tolerance policy on prosecuting people for crossing the border illegally. Mr. Trump, I thought you knew better. You wrote the book Art of the Deal. You cannot satisfy evil. Democrats are progressive Nazis. They want to replace us, the middle class in this country, who makes the country run, with illegal immigrants who will live in poverty and do as they're told. They'll only be satisfied when we, people that elected you, don't exist, Mr. Trump. You cannot satisfy them. You cannot let them set the parameters of the debate. They set the table. You have to overturn it and set your own table. You did. You were on the right track. Most of those children are not little darlings. They are MS-13 teenagers and adults masquerading as teenagers. We don't need any more MS-13 in our country. We have enough. MS-13 is the enforcement arm of the Democrats. Sir, I have to demand that you, as my employee, and you are my employee, end this. We don't need to be replaced. Moving on. Democrats are emboldened. This is from 100%fedup.com. Melania calls Secret Service after well-known actor calls for kidnapping of 11-year-old Barron. The office of the First Lady notified Secret Service after actor Peter Fonda called for kidnapping Melania and Donald Trump's son Barron. In the tweet sent Wednesday, the actor called for Barron to be ripped from Melania's arms and put in a cage with pedophiles. And this is a famous actor, a trust fund kid who was given everything on a silver platter as he was born. And he thinks it is okay to call for the kidnapping of the First Lady and putting her son, the president's son, in a cage with pedophiles. And he's not being ridiculed by the left. Of course, what do you expect? These are progressive Nazis. By all means necessary. They want to get rid of us. And they know if they get rid of Trump, they'll get rid of us. Thank God that they're stupid and they're in hysterics right now. But this cannot stand. This simply cannot stand. If I can find an unlisted number for Peter Fonda, I will call him on a live stream. I'm going to spend the next few days researching if I can get it. Next story. 3 of the 5 FBI employees dinged for anti-trust, and I'm on the Washington Times website. 3 of the 5 FBI employees dinged for anti-bias in the IG report ended up on Mueller's probe. So let me get this straight. The coup d'etat that Robert Mueller is in progress of attempting by inventing crimes against non-existent crimes against Donald Trump. He picked Donald Trump haters to help him manufacture to help him frame him. Next, Daily Caller. From today, socialist activist who harassed Homeland Security Secretary works for the Department of Justice. One of the activists who chased Homeland Security, Kristen Nielsen, out of a Mexican restaurant Tuesday night over the Trump administration's immigration policy is an employee of the Department of Justice, the Daily Caller News Foundation has confirmed. Members of the Washington, D.C. chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America crashed Nielsen's meal with a demonstration full of chants and other outbursts. One of the participants, Allison Hrabar, actually works for the Trump administration as a paralegal in DOJ. Kristen Nelson, you're a villain, the locking up immigrant children activist heard saying in a video. An employee within the Trump administration actually tipped the DCNF off about Hubbard's presence at the protest. Why is she still working for Trump? Why is she not fired? Why are the charges are not filed against her? I am sure she broke some laws by doing that. Mr. Trump, that's what happened when you let your opposition set the terms of the debate. Quit it. You can control the media and the conversation better than they can. Let's see. This one is from WGNO.com. State police rescue 25 immigrants, including 2 children, from human trafficking operation. Let me read this. Lake Charles, Louisiana State Police trooper detained 25 undocumented immigrants, including 2 children, after interrupting a human trafficking operation on I-10. A trooper pulled over an SUV that had committed a traffic violation on I-10 West between Sulphur and Westlake on June 14th. Soon after, another trooper pulled over another SUV nearby for a separate traffic violation. Inside the 2 vehicles, troopers found 25 illegal immigrants, including 2 juveniles, according to Louisiana State Police spokesman St. James Anderson. These victims were being transported through a human smuggling operation. and they would be forced into debt and bondage, Anderson said. You know, on some level, my heart goes out to them. On the other level, we need to change the law so they can be deported on the spot. What's going to happen now, they'll be detained together with children, and then a bleeding heart immigration judge is going to grant them undoubtedly the refugee status, and after that they'll be voted illegally and then legally for the Democrats and progressive Nazis. We need to stop this insanity. Once illegal immigrants are caught, they need to be deported right then, the same day. This is from Breitbart. This going back to the Peter Fonda trust fund kid. Actor Peter Fonda ripped Barron Trump from his mother, put him in a cage with pedophiles. You know, this is not a human being talking. This is a spoiled trust fund kid talking, and somebody need to whoop his ass physically. Nobody's gonna do it, but that's all. He needs a good ass whipping, not legal action. So he knows that calling for somebody to rape a child is not a joke. This is an interesting story. This is from rightwingwatch.org, a liberal website that tries to police us, the freedom-loving people, when we say things that are true on the internet. And they're trying to dispute their headline. Dave Hodges, facilities housing separated immigrant children are either tests of FEMA camps or child sex trafficking operations. And Kyle Montoya of the Right Wing Watch is trying to dispute that this is a fact. If they're trying to debunk this, which tells me that's probably true, because this person didn't do any independent investigation, none. It's just wants to debunk it because probably had the orders from above, from the Soros-controlled funding center to debunk it. I read the article and I found no investigation, nothing that could justify just blatantly saying no, which makes me think that it's probably true, that probably the children are being abused by the liberals, and the idea, the FEMA camps, and it's an old, it's an old plan. It's originated with under Clinton's under the Bush younger, to create a system of FEMA camps where undesirables, such as myself and you, ladies and gents, could be housed in case of the emergency. Kind of like internment camps for the Japanese during World War II, except they'll be detaining all the conservatives and all the libertarians. Anybody who left cannot control. You may think this is a joke or conspiracy theory. Just do your own research. The progressive Nazis openly talk about it. The next story from Los Angeles Times. Freedom City, going beyond sanctuary, Austin, Texas vows to curtail arrests. Ever since the Texas legislature last year passed one of the country's most aggressive anti-sanctuary city laws, some enclaves have fought back officials over the extent to which police can ignore federal immigration law. The state regulation known as a Senate Bill 4 has been described by opponents as the show your papers law, for allowing officers to ask about the immigration status of anybody arrested or detained. A Republican Governor Greg Abbott signed the law in May 2017, and Austin was among the first cities to challenge it in federal court. The law is currently in effect, while a case against it proceeds. The Trump administration, in the midst of legal battles against some states and cities for their sanctuary policies, has cheered Texas, even as officers in cities such as Houston and Austin have really used the law to ask immigration questions. Some cities have indeed followed the part of the Texas law that calls for police to hold detainees believed to be in the country illegally. I'm not going to read all of it, but I think it's a hell of a good law. I live in California, and I know firsthand what illegal immigration does to middle-class neighborhoods. Absolutely destroys them. Illegal immigrants move in, MS-13 moves in, and so it's a gang-infested territory. Property values go down. The place is trashed and generally becomes dangerous for anybody, especially for people who live there. Why would anybody want that in their cities? I don't know. Actually, I do know, because Austin, like all the liberal cities, are run by the wealthy, who believe that they're somehow anointed to tell the rest of us what to do. They live in the gated communities, and they don't worry about illegal immigration. Actually, they do worry about it. They want more of it so they can get the cheap labor to wash their toilets and be nannies to their children, and somebody that they can look down upon. The rest of us, people who believe in freedom, we want none of it. So we do need to reform our immigration system and allow law enforcement to deport on the spot people who came here without an invitation. 100%fedup.com, just in, keep the focus on Trump. Dems reject fix to keep illegal families together. Well, this is the last one I'm going to say, and I'm going to say again, Mr. Trump, you screwed up pretty bad. You let the Democrats and the progressive Nazis to set the rules of the debate. So now it will be a lot harder for us, you employers who elected you, to live. You may live in a White House behind armed guards. We do not. We have to deal with crime, corruption, and absolute deterioration of our neighborhoods. You do not. So, sir, redefine the debate. Bring it back to MS-13 and the proper debate. These people don't belong here. They need to be deported immediately. So find a way to do it, or we will replace you. God bless you, folks. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it more than I can say. I'll see you tomorrow, and may the Lord be with you. Bye-bye.